What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It is your favorite Monday night sports talk show that is right here on Facebook Live. And we're also on YouTube now. We are streaming to YouTube as well. So join us either on Facebook or YouTube. And that is Dr. Oui E Talk Sports. And we have been gone for a while. I've been some work travel, some conflicting schedules, but we are here. We are back, and we are ready to make you smarter as we get started on football season. We just had week 0 in college football. The preseason, as Doc said, it's a fake football season. The pretend football season is over with the NFL. 10 days until the NFL season starts. Week 1 is coming up with college football. We got Deion banning reporters. We got all kind of stuff going on in college football, and we got the pros. So we're going to talk about it all tonight. So a couple things I need for you to do as we get started. Number 1, let us know where you're watching from. Give yourself a shout out. Put your questions in there. 2, if you know somebody wants to join this discussion and talk about their team or talk about somebody else's team, let them know we are here and we are live and we're taking questions. We're taking all of your questions. And number 3, go ahead and share this on your page. We want to get this out to as many people as possible, and we can't do that without you. So, no further ado, we're going to bring in my co-host with the most, and that is Dr. Rita Brown. What up, Doc?
What's up, Alex?
Nothing. We are really looking forward to this show as we get ready for really 6 months of football, because football doesn't end until February. So we got a full 6 to 7 months of football games to talk about, and then after that, we'll talk about the draft and get ready for the second season.
Yeah, it's always NFL something going on.
Yeah, so we got a full slate of games to talk about. So we'll just get it started. I know you didn't watch a lot of preseason because it's faithful. There was a couple of things that I was intrigued to see during the preseason. I didn't watch a lot of games, but I did watch some specific players. I watched the Steelers multiple times.
Did you? Okay.
To see what the quarterback situation was going to look like. It's bad. Okay. It was bad. The last game was decent. Both of the quarterbacks led scoring drives. Russell Wilson only had
heard that. I've been listening to highlights. I watched a Bears preseason game.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that too, and your boy highlights and mess you up. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now, those you watching, do not just watch highlights.
They will. They really will, and commentators will too. Some of them, but they don't give you the whole scenario.
Because when you see Caleb Williams make that throw, you're like, oh, but you didn't see the first 2 drives when he went 3 and out and missed.
And you didn't, and they don't tell you he playing the second string.
Yeah, so you got to temper.
None of their starters played that day, so.
Oh, you gotta pump the brakes on some of that stuff. But I did watch the Steelers, and they don't have a fully functioning quarterback.
Well, you think Russell was injured, so you think that has anything to do with it? Because he didn't really get to practice much, and they didn't really play him that much either. Or you think he just Russ's days have passed?
I think that ship has sailed. Okay, he is serviceable as a quarterback. But he is like an older quarterback that's skills are eroding. He needs much more around him, much like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady did at the end of their career. So I'm not saying that he is unique.
You mean Peyton and Tom?
Peyton did too. I'm not saying he's unique in this. Your boy to LA, Matthew Stafford. The years pile up. They need more around them in order to be effective. And that's what I saw in Russ. So when he led the scoring drive, he played 1 series, he got a touchdown.
Yeah.
The offensive line held up their end of the bargain.
Well, good.
And they gave him protection so he could make the throws. So he could still make the throws, he could still make the reads, but when there's pressure,
he can't run like he used to.
He can't do none of that.
Exactly.
He's going down, and he still holds the ball a little long. But when you have time, when the line was doing their job, he was able to survey the field, deliver the ball. Now, that could be because he's playing backups. The line was blocking against backup on the defense, so they were able to beat their man, and then so that and then also Justin Fields, he led a touchdown drive. He did three series. One of them led for a touchdown. Neither one of them looked good.
Does Justin? Is he still holding the ball too long?
Yes, and then when he doesn't, he's not 100% accurate, and it's little stuff. It's like throwing it on the back hip of the receiver on the crossing route versus leading him so he can continue to run. He didn't have to slow down to make sure he secures the catch. It's little things. High on the quick outs where they've got to reach up, grab it, and now they've got to gather themselves before they can start getting yards after the catch. He's cutting down the yards after the catch because of his ball placement.
Yeah, it's basically you have to slow down versus being.
Yes. Whereas like somebody like Drew Brees, he hits you in stride. Boom, you still running. That way, one, you can avoid getting hit, and two, you can get more yardage because you don't have to slow down, stop, catch it, stuff like that. So it's little things that's going to be interesting to watch how the Steelers progress. I don't know if their running game is strong enough to balance so they can work play action. If I was making the decision, if I was Mike Tomlin, I had to put my Mike Tomlin hat on, I would start Russell because it's easier if he's making a mistake, if he's messing up, to go to Justin as the younger option versus the other way around, right? Because
I would too if he's healthy.
Yeah. So because basically, if you start Justin Fields and he doesn't play well, that's the end of his career.
True. And then what's your other option? Who's their third string? I don't even know.
I don't know either. So it's really start Russ. I don't know if Russ is going to finish the season, whether it's an injury or just poor play. So Justin's probably going to play, and they may even, give him some packages.
Some running packages.
Yeah, something because he is a good player. He's just not an everyday, every down quarterback.
He's not, but I wonder if he actually gets some good coaching. Will he? I mean, he might not he's never be Tom Brady, but he might be better than what he is right now.
I think if Tomlin, here's what, and I know it's sacrilegious to talk about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, even when Big Ben was at his peak, once the Pouncey brothers got too old to play offensive line, they had not had a good offensive line.
Oh, they hadn't, but Ben was just big and just
he can get out of some of those
stand hits and hold on to the ball and
and he was strong enough to break free some of those sacks. He was accurate enough. He was, so he covered up almost like Josh Allen does in Buffalo. He covers up for some of their warts on offense.
Yeah.
And when Big Ben left, and you got a lesser quarterback in that space, now the offensive line is not, Kenny Pickett wasn't doing it. So, and that's what I'm seeing. The reason why I would start Justin, I would start Russell, but I think Justin's going to end up with the job is because the offensive line deficiencies aren't as apparent when Justin's back there because he can move.
And I think the line is better than it was last year.
It's better than it was last year. Oh yeah, way better than it was last year. I mean, Kenny Pickett was running for his life, and he can't run, so he was getting just destroyed. So, my prediction, if I'm going to predict something about the Steelers, and then we'll talk about your Bears.
Well, they're not I'm an Eagles
fan.
fan.
I know you're Eagles.
I'm not a Bears fan.
But I would say my prediction is that Justin Fields will be starting by Thanksgiving.
I think I agree with you there. Unless something happens to Russ and he'll start earlier.
Yeah, the defense is going to keep him in games.
Yeah,
that's where they are, unless TJ Watts gets hurt, and when he gets hurt, that's
hopefully he won't.
Hopefully he won't, because he's an excellent player. I love watching him play. But yeah, they're struggling until they get that line fixed. you know, and it didn't have to be Detroit's line, but it's got to be better than, it could be the Falcons. I think if Justin Fields came here, he'd have a better opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, I thought he should have. Well, out of Justin and Kurt,
I was pulling for Justin to come to Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie.
I wanted Justin too to come to Atlanta, but because I thought it was a good fit for him.
But now I thought it was too. But now and I got to be honest. If I'm gonna call myself a football analyst, I got to be honest. My hopes for Justin was higher coming out of college than they are right now, and that's after watching him for 3 years.
Well, I think more quarterbacks are run than developed properly. So I don't blame.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's not all on him, but there's some things that you can coach. But if you put him in live action and he's not doing it, if he reverts back to, like in practice, he might be getting that ball out on time, blah, blah. He knows he can't get hit. When you're in a live game,
it coming at you fast.
It's coming at you faster. And so he's not, bruh, I need you to be quicker. Hit that back foot, get it out, which is what I liked, what I saw. And I didn't think this kid was going to be decent, but Drake May looks like he can play.
He look good, but like preseason, it means nothing. It means something because Pickett looked good last year in preseason, and look how
he did. And you're right, because he was playing against backup defense, so he did look decent. They're talking about trying to start him, and then but that offensive line is bad too in New England.
Yeah.
You saw
what was the point? Because people were like, he should start. I'm like, I don't think he should. He not in the first game. Based off a preseason game.
Kobe, they want to ruin his potential. Start it.
Yeah, and then they have no potential to go anywhere anyway. So it's like, why rush him?
They got no receiving core, barely a receiving core. They drafted one receiver. They got a couple of, I don't know, we're talking about New England. I think they got one good tight end, and the offensive line is atrocious.
So yeah,
they have no running game. And he's so young. He's going to be 22 in a couple of days. He's too young. Let Jacoby take them bullets.
Yeah.
Early in the season, and that's sad to say that.
Well, sure. I think I agree with you. What's the point in starting him? I think the NFL in general tries to play rookies because too early, and they need to develop more of them. But they want to use them while they're cheap.
See if they can get something out of them cheap, and then if it's. But you're like, hey, because I got 5 years, maybe max.
And then if they're a bust, they can just draft another person. So
they can draft another person. But yeah, you can't, so you got to see what you got. So I think now let's talk about the top two quarterbacks. Let's talk about Caleb Williams in Chicago. I watched him too. So I
watched him too in live.
And like I said at the top of the show, I watched the preseason for specific players, not for teams, because you don't know if it's backups or whatever.
Yeah, you can't really. Yeah, you just see how they look.
I'm watching players. So what I saw from Caleb Williams, and this is just my assessment, is he's got great ability. Mm-hmm. He's got a great surrounding cast around him.
Yeah, he does.
He's got to get out of playing hero ball. Because he makes the splash play fantastic. He's going to be great on highlights. Justin Fields is another one like this. Great on highlights.
He went, but I think like the game I went to, he played a little, but it was weird. Like the touchdown he ran in.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to throw it, and people were like, just run it, freaking ball in. I'm like, why are you trying to throw the ball? I'm like, run. I mean, you're like, how far are you away from the goal line? So
he has some maturing to do in terms of, and I'm hoping the offensive coordinator can help him with this. Is that game where everybody saw that beautiful throw, and that was
a nice throw, but
that throw was phenomenal.
He got sacked a couple plays before that.
But the first two drives were 3 and out, and he was missing throws. easy throws,
He was.
crossing routes,
But
little
he was
shallow
doing. I
missing
think one
throws.
thing that I liked that he did, he threw the ball away sometimes when he knew he didn't have anybody there, versus trying to just find somebody. You know.
I get it, but it is disconcerting to see a and he's a rookie, so I'm going to give him his rookie space. But I was not overly impressed. Like
I wasn't impressed the way commentators are saying he's
yeah,
gold jacket one day. You know, I mean, whatever.
yes, but I do think if he can, and this was, and truth be told, I know he is a quarterback god right now, Patrick Mahomes. But his first year actually playing, he was a lot like Caleb Williams. He could make those splash plays, but he was struggling with the easy stuff.
Okay.
He had a better coach and offensive coordinator with
and
Andy
he sat for a while because he didn't
and
play.
he sat and watched.
Yeah.
Caleb is not in a situation where he can sit and watch because I don't even know who's behind him.
What's his name? What is his name? Beckett something B. He actually won a couple games last year.
Yeah, so he's not feeling pressure. So, but that's the negative. The positive that I like is I like how he is on the mic. I like how he the stories that are coming out about him in the locker room.
Tyson Baggett, that's his name. That's backup.
So that's what I'm liking most of what I'm seeing. I just need to see. I need a quarterback to make the routine plays.
Yeah.
Make the layups. Make the layups. Get that screen pass out on time. Hit that crossing route on his hands and let him keep running. Hit the shallow crosser, the comeback. Those you should be able to hit. Those are the ones that are going to be. And then if the play breaks down, then you can make a
then
splash.
You do your
But don't go looking for the home run, right? Aaron Judge, and to make the baseball equivalent, Aaron Judge is not swinging for the fence every time. He's swinging to make good contact, and he's big enough and strong enough that it goes out. I don't need him hunting home runs. I need Caleb Williams hunting. Hey, you've got a great tight end. You've got 3 great receivers. You got a great
running back. Swift.
Yes, you've got weapons around you. Distribute the ball, get it out on time, get it in their hands where they can make yards after the catch. Let DJ Moore eat. He just got a big contract. Get him his touches. Get your tight end his touches. Let Swift. He can catch the ball. He can run it. You don't have to be Superman. This is not USC. You don't have to be Superman, Caleb. Be good. Be the point guard and let your boys eat. And y'all will go a lot further doing it like that versus you trying to make
it might be all right because the Bears season starts off pretty easy. The worst part of their season is toward the end, all the conference games.
Oh, the NFL did them a solid with that scheduling. They don't play any division opponents until week 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to play out of division other guys and let him get his feet wet, and then he gets to go and play in division. Well, that's a tough division. You got Jordan Love. You got
Jordan Love and Vikings. Who knows what's going on with them?
Well, the Vikings messed that up. I mean, he looked good. I was like, he looked better than I thought he would look.
Yeah, but it's sad that he's out.
He's out for the year. Done. Meniscus. Done.
Yeah.
But Detroit's not going anywhere. Green Bay's not going anywhere now. And look, the Vikings, they have a really good backup quarterback, or the guy that was going to start, right? They brought him.
They got a good defense.
They brought in Sam Darnold.
They got a good running back, and of course they got good wide receivers. So sometimes wide receivers can make up for the deficiencies of the quarterback. A little bit.
They brought in Sam Darnold to start a few games so JJ could get, and then JJ looked really good in his first outing. They were like, well, maybe let's start him. Now you can't. Sam Darnold, it's your show. Let's see, because the Raiders gonna need a quarterback.
They do. Minshew, I think, won the starting, so we'll see how that goes. I like Minshew's a good backup quarterback. I think.
He ain't no starter.
I agree with that. But the Raiders don't have anybody, so
Mm-mm.
I like Minshew. Maybe no. He did well for us. I mean, he won us a few games when Jalen was out.
That's what makes him a good backup quarterback. He won some games in Jacksonville, right? But then
And the Colts too. He played with the Colts. Richardson got hurt. So how you think Richardson will be? If he stays healthy?
He's got to stay focused because, like, I watched the game. First drive, he's down the field. He is precision. Boom, 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 boom. Touchdown. Oh, second drive, this is where his immaturity as a quarterback. Second drive, he's a little more loose because he's feeling good about himself. He's loose. Now he's missing throws. Now he's late on throws. Now he's like, and I'm like, bro, where was the focus on the second drive? Then, like, the focus on the first drive was perfect. Ball placement, timing, delivery, everything was good. Second drive, you feeling good, you high-fiving, you come out there and it wasn't the same level of focus. You throw a bad pick, you throw a pick six. Like, it was like a tale of two drives. And then he refocused and the third drive was okay. But I'm like, bro, we can't. But that is a sign of he only had 13.
He's basically a rookie because he didn't really play that much.
I don't even, is he a rookie yet? Like, because think about it, he only had 13 starts in college.
Yeah, and then he got hurt. What game? Like, how far in the season?
He played 5 games last year. No, he played more than that. 7 or 8.
Did he play that many? Okay.
I don't think he played 5. So if he said on the low end, he started 18 games as a college and pro. On the high end, he started 22 total games. Contrast that to your boy in Denver,
Bo Nix, because he's what? He's old. 60 and he's old.
College.
Yes.
60 in college, and he's looking the best of all the quarterbacks because 60 starts.
True, he's comfortable.
And he's in the best situation because you've got an offensive coach.
True.
A decent offensive line, a strong defense. Where you don't have to carry the team. And Sean Payton's offense fits his style of play.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Get it out your hand. You just distributing the ball. And he is a more athletic version of Drew Brees. He could run a little bit. Drew couldn't run. But this dude could move a little bit. I'm going to have to eat a whole lot of crow about Bo Nix because I think.
I said he was drafted too high. He made JJ.
And I thought it was garbage, but I watched him a couple of times this preseason, and I was like, you know what? He landed in the right situation, and he might be all right.
He might be. I'm just like preseason. I'm just be like, don't get too excited. Don't get too down, because who knows? You look bad in preseason, you look good otherwise.
It's not going to be as great as it was in the preseason. But all of the rookie quarterbacks,
the first strings,
he was the best. Bo Nix was the best of the rookie quarterbacks that played this preseason.
What about Daniels?
I love Jake Daniels. I love Jake Daniels. Jake Daniels is going to be a star. I don't know if that offensive line is good enough.
I don't know. Yeah, either. But he had some throws, accurate throws. What I saw on highlights.
No, don't get me wrong.
And he looked comfortable. Like it didn't look like it was too much for him.
I would take Jay Daniels over Bo Nix 7 days of the week. If there was an 8th day, I'd take him on the 8th day. Jay Daniels is by far a better quarterback than Bo Nix.
Would you have taken Jalen over Caleb?
Yes.
Other than the only thing about him is his size.
The size, but I think Well, the Bears have a better offensive line than people give them credit for.
They do.
And with all the weapons, Jalen would deliver that ball. He is very accurate. He can make all the throws. So him in that Bears offense, it would be a monster. He would go for 4,000 easy. Jalen in DC, I think he'll throw for 3,200, 3,300 because they don't have enough weapons and the offensive line is not as good. But Jalen's going to keep them relevant. And with all the turmoil that's happening in that team in Texas, I think he's got to.
We got one of their wide receivers like last week, so I want to know what that's about. Anyway, the Eagles. I forgot his name.
So with that, like, because Dallas, your hated team in Texas, I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, who knows what Jerry doing? Which is that's the problem. The Cowboys will never win until Jerry stops trying to be the GM and the owner. In my opinion,
Jerry said he owns the team. He can do what he want to do, even at 80-something years old. He
just wants to be relevant and talked about on television, which they talk about him every day.
That's fine. You want to win TikTok? You want to win social media?
We picked up Dotson, the wide receiver from Washington.
They got Dotson? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah. Well, Washington, look, I think Jalen, Jaden Daniels is going to be what we say is a force multiplier. He's going to make the players around him better because of his play, and he's confident, but he's not a cocky confidence.
He's not.
Like when they say a quarterback has it, he's got it, right?
Yeah, I like him.
I like him a lot.
I like your quarterback too, the backup.
Who's his backup?
Your backup for the Falcons. Well,
Michael Penix. Yes, I like him too. I don't know. I don't think I agree with the decision to sit him down, but I understand it. Right.
What, the whole preseason?
Yes.
I didn't get the live either. I think he needed reps, but
I think he needed reps, and so he could see live in game. He's not going to start, but he's like, this is the time starting. But he does have an injury history, and that's why I understand it. They're like, why put him in harm's way, especially after what happened to J.J. McCarthy? They're like, one play, and nobody really knew. Like they showed the play where McCarthy tore the meniscus, and it wasn't like a big sack or egregious. It was just like he played it, and somebody grabbed him, and he tried to, and next thing you know, he tore the meniscus.
Yeah, you don't want that. No, you don't. Not with your first round.
Especially when you have a 40-year-old. Well, how old is Kirk Cousins? 37, 38?
How old is Kirk?
So you got Kirk Cousins, who is coming off an Achilles tear.
36.
And he's 36, and he got a lot of miles. He got a lot of miles on that body.
Yeah, he just turned 36 this month.
So he might get forced into action at any point in time during the season. So, because last year I think the stat is over 60 quarterbacks played last year.
Oh yeah, a lot of yeah.
So the likelihood of you making it through the season with one starting quarterback is very low.
Especially an older one.
Especially an older one that's coming off an injury, New York.
Who's their backup quarterback? I know they drafted the FSU, but he's like third, right? FSU.
I think he's third. I think they like him, so they're probably gonna put him on the practice squad because I think they have a veteran backup in New York. But older quarterback with a lot of miles on the tires and coming off an injury is not a recipe for thinking he's going to play 17 plus games.
Plus, yeah, they want they want to be plus. So Tyrod Taylor is the backup.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor, yeah, that's a great backup. Yeah. So George Trevor not making that team.
The backup.
Because why would you keep 30 quarterbacks? Just have Aaron, Tyrod, and then keep Jordan on the practice squad because from what I'm hearing, he was playing well.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I like
so
him.
I'm pulling for Jordan Travis.
Yeah, he seemed like a good kid, and I feel bad for the whole ankle thing.
So all right, so now that the preseason has happened, has unfolded, who are your teams that you think that are going to be good? And
Good. What, division wise, overall? What?
who did the preseason change any of your thoughts about?
No. I didn't really know much about Drake May, so he looks good. Other than that, but the Patriots are not going to be good. So does it matter? Ultimately, yes, but like most teams don't play starters anyway, and if they do, they get a couple series if that.
And they play vanilla defense, and they play very vanilla defense. So I got you, James.
What?
He wants to talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys
Yes.
fans. And we'll talk about it because they got some issues. So you're right. The Patriots won the offensive line. They don't have any weapons. They're gonna struggle. You saw how Jacoby Brissett got baptized by that man. I mean, it wasn't even. It was just a blown. Like the guy had a free run and just destroyed him.
Yes.
So
Bonix is good, but
they're in a division, that is going to be harder because you got Miami, you got Josh Allen, Buffalo,
you got Rodgers if they're going
Rodgers in New York. So even if Drake May was the second coming, the division is so hard that you may not even get enough wins in your division to challenge.
Yeah, you won't. They won't. Things happen, but I don't think so. They're gonna be less in the division.
So there's that part. The second thing is, I would say, all right, so that's off the table. Bo Nix has a chance to, but we don't know what Harbaugh and his offense and with Justin Herbert is going to do. So that's a wild card in that division.
Yeah, we don't
know. We know the QB God is going to be the guy. He's throwing behind the back passes. Like, he's playing around with y'all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And they just signed back Juju Smith-Schuster today.
Juju?
Yes. He got cut by the Patriots.
Patriots, yeah.
And the Chiefs picked him up because he understands the offense, and they know that.
I mean, he was.
They had an injury. They had a clavicle injury to one of their receivers.
Yeah.
In a game.
And call on him doing the Super Bowl cost us from getting a touchdown.
And they don't know what's going to happen with your boy from his traffic accident, Rashee Rice. So I was like, that's an insurance policy that they did with Juju Smith-Schuster. And I was like, that was a smart move. They're like, okay, I got a receiver that's injured, and I got one that might have to get suspended for 4 games because of violation of league rules. So now I need somebody that can come in and play right away. So there's that. Good
because they had a problem with their receiver last year, dropping balls and such.
They did. So there's that piece. So there's an opportunity for Denver to either be second or third, depending upon what happens with the Chargers and Harbaugh. So Denver could challenge for the playoffs. Now, let's talk about your division. Eagles, Redskins, Commanders,
Giants. The Giants
let's not even discuss Giants. That's a waste of time. I'm not wasting breath talking about that bad quarterback and the.
I know. I actually feel sorry for him.
I don't. When you make bad decisions, you gotta lie. You gotta lay in the bed you made.
I feel bad
for him. You let Saquon Barkley go. You chose not to pay Saquon Barkley.
It wasn't the quarterback fault.
But Daniel Jones is a bum.
But I'm just saying, I feel bad for him, even though he made a lot of money. I still feel bad for him. I really do.
Everybody on the planet knows that offense, when Daniel Jones had his best season, it was because he had Saquon Barkley behind him.
I agree with all of that. They should have drafted somebody, and then
why do you pay that man?
And then they were talking about should they go away from him. I'm like, they're not. They paid him. They didn't draft the quarterback. I'm like, no.
They wanted to draft Drake May.
They're gonna ride with him until I don't know.
They wanted to draft Drake May, but New England wouldn't make the trade because New England wanted.
They could have drafted somebody else.
They should have drafted Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix would have been better than.
Well, I'm glad Michael Penix is not there.
I'm glad too.
The Giants need other stuff too, but I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for Giants. Even though I don't hate the Giants because they beat Tom Brady twice, so I have hate in my heart for them as an organization.
I don't.
Even though they're in our division.
I don't. Yeah. And you know what made it worse? The hard knocks where they were exposed in their decisions. And I'm like, they're making bad decisions.
Management. I'm just talking about the team, the fans. I'm not talking about. I don't care nothing about them. I don't care nothing about them. I'm talking about their fans. I have a lot of Giants friends. There's a lot of them in Philly when I live there. It's not. There's a lot of Giants fans in Philly.
That stadium's gonna be real empty by the end of the season because Daniel Jones.
Well, I will be there in October for the Eagles Giants game.
Oh, you can watch that route. That's gonna be a blowout. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Saquon coming home, it's gonna be nice.
Saquon about to give him 220 and 2 tubs in that game. Because they're gonna feature Saquon. They're gonna give him a heavy dose of Saquon. Oh,
yeah, he's gonna wanna just rub it in.
Oh, boy, he's gonna give him that word. He's probably gonna have about 160 rushing, another 40 or 50 yards receiving, 2 tubs. He's gonna give it to him. And he's gonna look up in the rafters like, oh yeah, I want Saquon to give it to him. In their stadium and let their home fans boo the draws off of Daniel Jones. Come on, man. They shouldn't have drafted Daniel Jones any goddamn way.
Well, he was decent 1 year. 1 year.
That Saquon was healthy.
Well, of course it was. But he was decent one. I mean, I wouldn't have paid him, but I wouldn't have paid him. I would have paid Saquon. But I'm glad they did.
The first 2 years, yeah. Well, Saquon was the only draw you had. You had to pay him.
But
why are you coming to the Giants games now as a fan? Why are you going to the games? You're just a fan of the team. There's nobody on that team that scares anybody.
No.
You got a rookie receiver that's decent. But he hasn't played in a real regular season NFL game. Why are you watching? Why are you watching the Giants?
Because you're a fan of the team.
That's it. There's nothing to really watch the Giants for.
Well, they're going to be last, is my prediction. And then
they're going to pick first.
And Eagles on top.
Maybe Shedeur Sanders can go there next year.
I don't know. Dion might not want him to go there.
It's in New York. It's a big market. He might want to keep him stay.
He might. Who knows? Right. You got a good coach.
We're going to satisfy our request from our man James Hammond.
Oh goodness.
Let's talk about the Cowboys. All right. So here's
dumpster fire. They need to pay CD. They should have paid CD last year, and they wouldn't have all this controversy. They need to pay Dak, and I don't think they're gonna pay Dak. And I think Dak is gonna lead the Cowboys. And next year they gotta pay my man. Why am I blanking on
the
defensive player? Why am I blanking on his name?
James.
Micah
Parsons. All right.
They need to pay him next year.
So Cowboys fans, don't hate me for stating facts. And I understand y'all don't like facts when it comes to the Cowboys, right? So I'm gonna state a few facts for you all. As you say, do not the fact that Cowboys fans want to always hold on to is Dak was second in MVP voting last year.
Mhm.
That was when Dak had a running game, but guess what? Tony Pollard's not there.
And
Right? And Tony Pollard proved he's not an everyday back.
he's
But
not.
you know what 30% of your offense came from? The man is not practicing right now, and that's CD Lamb.
Because they don't want to pay the man. Pay the man. Pay the man. Pay the man.
30% of the Cowboys offense, 30+% came from CD Lamb.
He did. They showed the yards today on ESPN. Yeah.
And then on top of that, Dak has a losing record when he doesn't have a 100-yard rusher. You brought back Zeke. After you let him go, you brought it back. You think he got better or worse?
Of course he got worse. He's older.
Okay.
All the time is undefeated.
You don't have a running game. The Cowboys. We talk about the Cowboys if you're just joining us. The Cowboys don't have a threat in the running game. You don't have your number one receiver in camp right now.
Yeah.
You got a half a tight end, maybe 3/4 of a tight end.
Yeah. And then they got rookies on the offensive line.
And you lost your Zach. Zach has gone on to New York. Your best offensive lineman, yes, with injuries, but he was your best one. Now you trotting out new offensive linemen, and you've got a quarterback that's dependent on everything being perfect around him for him to be at his best. How do you think that's going to turn out, Cowboys fans? And I don't need to hear the delusion. What I need for you to do is take off the rose-colored glasses and really look at this team based on the weapons they have. Not the one, and I'm talking about the ones that are in camp. Micah Parsons is the beast. I give him all credit for that.
Yes. I give him that too. I actually like him. I want him to lead the Cowboys. I like him.
And
Come home.
You got your boy coming back, the cornerback that tore his ACL. Diggs.
Yeah.
Stefan's brother.
He's good too. But he's good too, actually.
He's good too. But you showed in the playoff that you can't stop the run. Green Bay came into your house and beat the draws off of you. Like it wasn't even like.
And it was so lovely.
It was.
And Dak was like you get that deer in the headlights look.
I mean, beat the stank off of you. What? And so you don't have your top skill players. You got a quarterback that's going to be playing on a prove-it contract because he's about to become an unrestricted free agent. So, yeah, he's playing for his next contract.
He sure is. His agent set him up nicely.
But the Cowboys are setting him up to make him come back because they're not giving him any weapons. No running game.
I agree. And then CD going to come back, but he missing all training camp. Even though he working out, ain't nothing like, real football.
Ain't nothing like real reps.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like real reps.
So he be prone to get some type of soft tissue injury.
Thank you. And that's coming from an orthopedic surgeon. So I'm trying to tell y'all, we're giving y'all facts right now. So Cowboy fans, like I said, get out of Delusionville, and I need you to come with me in the real world. Look at your team. This is not your year.
Blame it on Jerry. Blame it on Jerry.
Please blame it on Jerry. Like
Jerry.
I don't understand why he doesn't get enough heat. And maybe I need to talk to Cowboys fans more often. But the regular season success is keeping the delusion alive.
Yeah, and it's keeping you paid. I guess I don't think he wants to win. I think he just want to be relevant and make money, which he does. What they do.
That team is not built for the playoffs. It's built for the regular season. So winning 12 games in the regular season is not indicative. It's not going to translate, because the issues that were issues during the regular season,
you still have.
They're bigger in the playoffs because you're playing better
teams. Yep.
And the Packers said, "Oh, they can't stop the run."
And you win and go. Win and go home.
You got a healthy dose of James Jones, and then they went and upgraded their running game with Josh Jacobs now. So like they're not getting any worse; they got better.
Yep.
The Cowboys went and got better. They got a
The
better
Commanders
quarterback.
is
They get better
winning.
players. The Cowboys went and got the Commanders went and got better.
The Eagles went and got better.
The Eagles are coming in with a chip on their shoulder because everybody's talking about how poorly they played at the end of the season. Everybody's talking about the relationship between the coach and the quarterback. Everybody's saying the coach is on the hot seat. Blah 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 blah. Don't you think like if I'm the Eagles, I got a boulder-sized chip on my shoulder. I'm coming in trying to mollywop teams. I'm coming out. Look, I'm coming in. If you want the title NFC East champion, come get it. Come get it. Yeah. So they got a chip on their shoulder. Come on, Dallas. I mean, bold prediction.
What's the bold?
9-8, Dallas, and they might miss a playoff.
9-8.
9-8. That's my bold. 9-8. And that's if CD Lamb comes back. And I'm counting CD Lamb.
He's coming back. They're gonna work it out. He'll be back, but he'll be rusty and hopefully he won't get injured. They pay that man. He's worth what he's asking for.
What season was that? Was it the 92 or 93 season when Emmitt Smith held out and they lost those first two games?
I think 93.
And then they went, and then when Jerry finally got his head out of his ass and signed Emmitt Smith. And
which is why he spoke out about this whole situation.
14 straight wins. They could have got. That was a team that could have gone 16-0. That second year when they went back to back, that team should have gone 16-0, but Jerry couldn't get his head out of his own ass. And he would not sign Emmitt Smith to the contract.
Emmitt and the coach. I mean,
yes. That's what I'm like. They're gonna lose until Jerry, but Jerry has set it up to where his son is a carbon copy of him.
So it'll be continue on. They'll be relevant and be worth $10 billion, but won't make it.
Exactly. And nobody, I mean, outside of Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, there's a few people that could afford to buy the Cowboys, but why would he sell? Why would he sell? Most valuable sports franchise on the planet.
It is, yeah. I give them that. And the Cowboy fans are everywhere. They like roaches.
You built a great business, but you have not built a good football team. That's what I said.
They have a good team. They're just not built for the playoff. They have a good team that they're relevant. They win games, but they just don't win the whole season. But what's the point in having a 12 and whatever season and not making it to the playoffs? The goal is to win a Super Bowl.
Allegedly.
I mean, that should be the goal of every team. I mean, you know.
You got to say that about the Cowboys. Allegedly.
Yeah, it should be.
So, if Jamar Chase doesn't play, do you think Cincinnati has a chance?
I do, but less likely. But I don't think he's gonna get paid. But I don't think he's gonna get paid this year. But will he play?
I'm gonna give you two names: Boomer Esiason, Carson Palmer. The Bengals historically have been, if we've got a quarterback, we're not worried about anybody else.
Yeah, that's true. And they're not.
They paid Joe Burrow. They paid Joe Burrow the money.
Yeah, they do.
Don't worry about nobody else.
Yeah, and then they franchise tag the other wide receiver because they claim they couldn't afford to pay, what they were asking for. So they know they're not going to break the bank to pay him right now.
So
I don't think he's going to get paid, but I don't know what he's going to do.
I'm like,
CD. I think CD going to get his money. The point when, but CD is going to get paid.
The report this morning that I heard on ESPN was that they're $1 million apart.
CD.
Yeah, and the Cowboys.
$1 million. You can afford it. I mean, I'm just really. I mean, really. I mean, you can afford it. Me, no. But give the man $1 million. You worth $10 billion. He worth it.
You preach it to the choir, but this is Jerry Jones.
Man, the money. I don't like the Cowboys, but I get a man the money. I want players to make the money because if not, the owner just gonna have it all.
Jerry Jones, and I hate to make this analogy. Jerry Jones is the Donald Trump of football.
Okay.
He watches the media too much.
Yeah, and talks too much.
And he bends to the whim of what they're saying about him in the media. Oh, he's and he's letting his ego get in the way of. I mean, there's no, and they said he should have paid him last year before the price went up.
I know. That is what our GM does. Howie pays people early. We paid Jalen. We played Brown. We played the Smith.
You let the price go up, Jerry. It's not going down. This is not 1945 when you was born before 45. This is not the old days of football where you can stall them out and they're going to come down. They're not. The price is going up.
And they don't think it's a privilege to play with a star on your helmet. They want to get paid.
They're trying to set up generational wealth.
Yeah.
For their families. And now we're in a situation where they can do that. And you think they're going to be worried about that star? Bust stop.
Well, Jerry. Somebody needs to talk some sense in him. But
the only incentive CD has to come back if they don't get a contract worked out is so he can get another year of service underneath his belt. Because if he doesn't play, he doesn't get credit for another year of service, and then he has to wait, and then it becomes problematic. So,
basically.
But the Cowboys aren't the only team that are having issues with getting their players paid, and that's the defending NFC championship team. The San Francisco 49ers got the same problem. They don't have as much noise around them as the Cowboys because the Cowboys are.
Ayuk, they talk about a lot.
Ayuk, but the Cowboys are just because of their large fan base, they get talked about more. But San Francisco got a real problem. Ayuk, and more importantly, Trent Williams. Yeah. Let me remind. This is
they need to pay. Well, they need to pay Trent before. They need to pay Trent. Exactly. They need.
This is where y'all can become smarter when y'all talking on the water cooler. The games that Trent Williams did not play last year were the worst games for Brock Purdy.
Yep.
They lost those. Remember they went on that 4-game losing streak? Yep. Guess who wasn't on the field when they went on that 4-game losing streak? Trent Williams. Ayuk was on the field. Trent Williams wasn't.
Debo wasn't either.
Debo wasn't on the field. You're right. But Trent Williams is more important to Brock Purdy. Okay? So if you don't want to pay your offensive lineman, okay, cool. Pay Ayuk if you want to. If Trent Williams not on
I think they're going to pay him. Ayuk, I don't know. And Ayuk, I think, wants to stay because he's been offered money from other teams. He's trying to play the field and trying to get the money.
You know, if I was him, I wouldn't go to the Pittsburgh Eagles.
I wouldn't either. But what he was thinking about going to DC because him and Daniels, and I wouldn't. And the Patriots, I think initially had some interest. And
no, don't go to the Patriots. You can go to DC with Jaden Daniels, but
if somebody else had interest in him, and I forget what team it was, Steelers.
New England pulled out. They pulled out. I think so Ayuk is trying to get his money, but they're probably gonna pay him. They said that the GM is notorious for playing hardball.
Do you think they're gonna pay? Well, I think they'll pay Trent, but I don't know about. I think they need him.
He's the best left tackle in the game.
No, I'm not talking about the Trent. I'm talking about Ayuk.
Absolutely.
I think they need him.
Debo is not a deep threat. Debo is Swiss Army knife. But in order to get Debo space, you got to have somebody that could take the top off the defense, that can run those deep crossers, that keep those safeties back because they know they can't just single coverage him because he's gonna beat single coverage. So now you gotta commit a safety to Ayuk, plus your corner. Now you open up space for Debo and what's your running back?
Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey. So Ayuk is integral to that scheme, and the wide receivers that they drafted got hurt.
But yeah, and then tight end. I mean, he blocks and does all this other stuff too. So
yes, Kittle, but that field is gonna get real tight if you don't have Ayuk out there. So you're gonna be able to find out for yourself. You're gonna be able to find out for San Francisco. Quit playing, okay? All right. AFC. Is Miami gonna do anything?
Playoffs? I think they'll make the playoffs, but in order for them to progress, they need to be like number 1 seed so they can play in Miami, which is not gonna happen.
They're 0-11 in games under 40 degrees.
Which is not gonna happen. They need to be number 1 seed so they can play a home game.
0-11. Okay.
Everywhere else is gonna be cold.
Yes.
So that's what they need. They need to be the number 1 seed. Now I don't think they're not gonna be the number 1 seed.
Yeah. So Miami's out. What do you think Harbaugh is going to do? And they have had zero noise around that team. Very little buzz. I know Herbert was in. He had a plantar fasciitis, and I've had that injury. It's not pleasant.
I've had it. I had it for 2 years.
What do you think? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to make a splash, or you think what 9-8, 8-9?
9-8, because it's like a big. They got new players, new coach. He's good, but he hadn't really shown much overall. I mean, his stats are good, but as far as postseason.
What do you think about Houston? Do you think they're going to be able to repeat, or you think they're going to take a step back?
I think they're going to be good, but I don't think they'll be as good as last year, but I might be wrong.
Last year, they caught a lot of teams by surprise. They ain't going to
but this year they're going to be ready for them. But they got Diggs. I don't know who add to their.
I think Diggs is going to be good for them and bad for them. I think it's bad.
He's going to get
touches. Last year they had nobody that was barking at the QB. He was able to.
Nobody knew who they were.
Now you got Diggs. He's going to be like, I need my touches. I need my catches.
And he don't need to try to force the ball.
Exactly. So I'm hoping he builds up enough goodwill that says, look, I'm going to play my game. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of hype around Houston, and I want them to do well because I really like him. He was my favorite quarterback when he came out last year. I was like, they should have drafted him and not your boy from Alabama. I said, C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback. He was the best quarterback in last year's draft. So where I was wrong on Justin Fields, I was right about C.J. Stroud. So I think we got to wait and see. But I'm hoping they can live up to the hype. And D'Amico and the offensive coordinator, who's probably only going to be there one more year because he's going to get a head coaching job. I hope they're able to flush out last year and say, this is a new year. And you got to prove yourself every week and not just come in and say, we're going to pick up what we left off last year. Because a lot of teams do that, and that's how they end up not making the playoffs. We talked about Indianapolis. I think Anthony Richardson still has some maturing to do as a quarterback. I think they'll probably be like 7-10 this year. What do you think about Trevor Lawrence and Jaguars?
If he stays healthy, I mean, they'll be better than last year because he was hurt. So, but will they make the playoffs again? I mean, and actually win? I don't know. I like Trevor Lawrence.
You got Tennessee, Houston, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville in that division.
So their division's not strong. So you got either I think it's going to be either the Texans or Jacksonville if Lawrence stays healthy. Because Colts, I don't know about Richardson. I mean, he's a rookie, and can he stay healthy?
Richardson he's the wild card of that division. If he stays healthy, stays focused,
He's
they can
not a
make some.
rookie, but he didn't play last year, so he's basically
He's got a good head coach that's gonna
he does.
call plays, but can he stay healthy? And if he
But
can
if
stay
he
healthy,
stay healthy, I think he tries to play a little hero ball too.
he does. He does because he's trying to out athlete the game, and he hasn't realized that he can't do that. And his coach is calling plays for him to be an athlete, but that's Cam Newton
You gotta be smart when to run, when to
when
do the.
when he gets down, and
You don't want to get a quarterback getting hit multiple times. You get it.
and if he makes better throws, his coach is going to call more passing plays than running plays. But if he's not throwing the ball well,
He's a good running back too, so run the ball.
They do. Hand it off, run play action, get the ball out your hands, do well. That's NFC South. What do you think? You got the Saints, the Falcons, the Bucks.
I think the Falcons will win the division. I think the Panthers will be better this year, but not great. But I think they'll be better than last
year. Yeah, I think the Bucks will challenge because they re-signed Baker Mayfield, and they've been surprisingly quiet in the offseason, which always makes me worried because that means they're able to practice and not worry about distractions. They just focus. The wild card is Baker Mayfield. Are we going to get good Baker or are we going to get bad Baker? Are we going to get cocky Baker or are we going to get confident Baker? I like confident Baker, not cocky Baker. Cocky Baker thinks he can make throws he can't make. Cocky Baker thinks he can run the ball when he can't. Confident Baker plays within himself and plays the game. I need confident Baker, not cocky Baker.
We'll see what we get. We got a new offensive coordinator, so.
And then there's that. So I do think the Falcons are a better shot of winning it.
I think if Kurt is if
Cousins is worth a damn, I think the Falcons will have a
I think so. But y'all did well with no quarterback. I think.
Yeah.
Considering y'all had quarterback since Matt.
Ritter was so bad. Oh my God. I was like,
where is he?
He's backing up somewhere. I think he was in Minnesota. He was somewhere. I saw he had a stat line on one of these teams. Yeah, they got him off the team. So I think between the two quarterbacks, whether it's Kirk Cousins or the rookie, I think
y'all will win the division. I don't know about
10-7. 10-7. I think 10-7 will be good enough to win that division.
That's good for y'all.
Yeah, 10-7. Yeah, 10-7 would be enough. I'm not sure. Kirk Cousins has a terrible playoff record. He's like Dak in the playoffs. He's a regular season quarterback, but in playoffs, it seems like the lights get too big for him. But I think 10-7, and they'll win the division, so we'll get a home playoff game, and then we'll see.
Good for y'all.
We'll see. I'm hopeful. I got my season tickets. I'll be in the stadium. So.
Oh, you got season tickets?
I did. I had them before, and then I let them go. And then this year, I was like, when I got Michael Penix, I was like, you know what? Let's see what they do. And I got them back. And I got better seats this time too. So I'm really gonna be. He starts stinging up the joint. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm that kind of fan. I don't play with people. I'm gonna give it to you.
Well.
All right. Last thing, and then we'll get out of here on this one. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about college football, but. What do you think is going to happen in the Central? Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals.
Ravens are going to win that division. I think.
So you got the Ravens. You think Lamar's going to make it? You think he's going to do it this year, or get him over the Patrick Mahomes hump?
I'm hoping, but you never know on any given Sunday. So, but I think they'll win the division. I give them that. And I think they'll do a better job if they do play them again and actually run the ball.
I think the division will be easier to win if Jamar Chase is not in Cincinnati. They have Cincinnati's number, like Cincinnati used to have Kansas City's number. I don't know if they have it anymore. I think Kansas City got that monkey off their back, but we'll see. Because Joe Burrow's not afraid of Kansas City, and he's the only quarterback that's gone into
But if Joe doesn't have Chase, he's coming off an injury. I mean, Joe is Joe, but will he be old Joe? I mean, 100%. Will he?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. So I do think I agree with you. I think that's the Ravens division to lose. I think because Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback, and I'm not sure if Cleveland has one either.
No, I hope he looks better than he looked last year. But I mean, part of that he got hurt too. But I actually want them not to do well, but I want him to look somewhat like old Watson because I
Well,
liked him in Texas.
I did too. I can't get with his off the field activities, but I did like him in Texas, and I want him to do well. We'll see. But I do think the Ravens will own that division. So who are
Our
who are
competitor.
your Super Bowl teams? I know. Are you gonna do a homer pick? Are you gonna do a homer pick on this?
I can't not choose my Eagles. But if we don't make, who would it be? If outside of us, I would still probably give it to San Francisco or Green Bay. How about that?
Yeah, that's I'm definitely picking Kansas City on the AFC side. I think they're getting to that point where they're intimidating teams because of Mahomes, right? It's strictly because of Mahomes. Almost like Josh Allen when he would walk in, everybody like, "Who that's Josh Allen?" I think the Mahomes has that mystique where almost like Brady did. Like he's gonna do something to win this game, and that can make you panic, right? And so even when you're winning, you can panic. Like Brady, like you might be winning the game, and you might just because in the back of your mind you don't trust that lead is safe when that
Yeah, well,
when that
I wouldn't either. I don't, as a fan, I didn't trust it.
with 15s on the other side of the field, you're like, ooh, I don't know. And
Play
players
them in the Super Bowl. I'm like, until it's 0-0-0, I'm
yes,
not going.
yes. So because think about it, San Francisco was winning that game with 2 minutes left in the game. Like people forget that because they just say, oh, Kansas City won. San Francisco was winning that game and then got the ball first in the overtime. And if it wasn't for a great rush by my man, they were going to score a touchdown to win that game. But a few plays, and then when I saw when they kicked that field goal, I was like, they're not getting it back. They're not getting it back. I just knew it. I was like, they're not getting it back. And boom, 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 touchdown. I was like,
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes not gonna play around with y'all. You give him a shot, he's gonna.
You're the man.
They got belief. So all right. So I'm saying Kansas City, and I'm gonna say Detroit. I think Detroit.
Detroit
And
will make it.
the reason why I'm saying Detroit over Green Bay is they've been together longer, and they went farther last year, so they've got that taste in their mouth, right? They understand now. Sometimes you have to learn how to win, and I think Green Bay was just they were playing off of just, hey, we're playing because they should have beat San Francisco, but they let them come back. That was an inexperience.
Yeah.
Detroit had that game won against San Francisco, and inexperience when things started going bad, they didn't have anybody to say, "Hey, Jared Goff should have done that, but he's not a leader like that," right? And so they didn't have anybody that could say, "Hey, guys, we're not going to do this." Rally the team around him. So they just didn't do it. I think they've got now that experience happens. I don't think they're going to let that happen again this year. So I'm going to go Kansas City. I'm going to go chalk on the AFC until somebody proves me wrong.
So who? Kansas City. Who's the next person? Like if
Kansas
City, would you go with?
I would say the Ravens because the Ravens were the better team last year. Truth be told, they just had a terrible game plan against Kansas City. that was one of the worst game plans I've seen in my life. Like seriously, it was terrible. You're the number one rushing team in the NFL, and you run the ball 6 times in the second half. What? In a close game? It wasn't like y'all were getting blown out. It was a one-score game, and if Zay Flowers doesn't try to reach for the end zone, you winning, you leading the game.
Yep, and that whole penalty and all
Yeah,
that.
so couple of plays. So I'm hoping because I want the narrative about Lamar Jackson to I want them people to shut up, but he's got to win, but it's not just on him. Your offensive coordinator's got to call a better game, and y'all got to execute when it's time to execute. And so I'm if it's not Kansas City, I would like to see the Ravens. So that's my but I'm saying Kansas City, Detroit, with the Chiefs breaking, and if that ends up being the way, I'm going to pull for the Chiefs because I want them to go 3-peat. So they can really, and it's out of spite. I just don't like Tom Brady, and I think if the Chiefs 3-peat, then that's going to be another chip away at that legacy of Tom Brady, because that's something that he didn't do that Patrick Mahomes has done. Another thing that Patrick Mahomes has done that Tom Brady has not done. So, and I'm like, if I can chip away from that Tom Brady legacy every time, and that'll be the fourth ring, ooh, then you start getting real. Then it start getting real tight on that Tom Brady GOAT conversation, right? So there's that. So real quick, college football playoffs, week 0, FSU gets it handed to them.
No, that game. I saw like the last couple minutes, and I was like,
"Oh." Do you think that's indicative with realignment with the playoffs? Do you think? But FSU's not out of it by any stretch of imagination.
No, it's still ranked 10 when I looked earlier today.
With the 12-team playoff format, FSU could still get in at large, and depending on how the ACC falls, they could still win the ACC, right?
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be harder because I think that was a conference game, and they got Miami. Who they play next week?
Miami's playing.
Who does FSU play next week?
I have no idea.
They got to play Notre Dame. They got to play. I mean, it's like they got who else do they got coming up?
Let me take a quick look here. Yeah, I think people are already piling on FSU.
Yeah, I think we have a chance because I mean, one loss don't mean disaster anymore in the new format. But I mean, I was hoping they would come out and with a chip on their shoulder with all the stuff that happened last year with the playoffs.
They played Boston College. So you got here's their schedule. Next week, Boston College on Monday night. Then you got Memphis, California, Berkeley. So then you got SMU. So they've got a winnable. The next time they play a ranked team is October 5th against Clemson.
Okay, and I don't know how Clemson is this year.
Then they get Duke. So they've got a winnable schedule. If Georgia Tech comes back to the middle, I do like what I saw from Georgia Tech. They control that line of scrimmage, and I like the quarterback. So
yeah, it was like it was hardball to the end. They fought to the end. And the kicker won the game. He looked like he was so happy when they interviewed him.
And from a coaching standpoint, as a coach all summer, he's preaching, here's what we got to do, here's what we got to win. They go out and they do it and they win. Now he's got the ear of all his players. They believe in anything he tells them now because they were able to execute and beat a ranked team. So now Georgia Tech ain't going to be an easy win. I'm telling you. They're not going to be an easy win. So, and that quarterback, he is, I won't say a better version of Tim Tebow, but he's like a Tim Tebow kind of guy. He runs the ball.
In college.
He makes enough throws to keep the other team honest. And the offensive line is phenomenal. And the D line they shut down Florida State. They couldn't do nothing with it, that D line. So, so we're going to see this week if it was Florida State being overrated or if Georgia Tech was underrated. We're gonna see that answer this week.
Georgia Tech is overrated.
So I'm looking forward to this week's slate of games. I do have to do. I've committed to doing a prostate cancer awareness walk on Saturday, so I might.
I'll be ready. So I'll have to look at the lights.
Walking with my phone in front of me, but I'm committed to helping people bring prostate cancer awareness. With September being Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, I want to drive the awareness up around prostate cancer, so I'm committed to that on Saturday. But I'll be watching the late games and keep my eye on the score.
You're watching early Georgia. Who Georgia State play?
Georgia plays Clemson. That's the early game. That's a 3:30 game, and then you've got Miami versus the University of Florida. That's a game. I think that's the early. That's early. I think that might be the 12 o'clock game.
Okay.
And then there's a late game too. So this is plenty of great football. Come on all weekend because there's games on Monday night. I think there's some games on Sunday.
There's no Monday Night Football yet.
Yeah, because NFL is not playing this weekend, so they're going to do this weekend. There's games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yes,
so,
which is how we wound up on ABC last week. Okay.
Yeah. So there's that. So
what did you think? Since this is about FAMU's performance on Saturday. Football.
I think we as a FAMUan started reading our own press clippings, started believing the hype, and when you start saying Norfolk State is bad, because the past 2 years, I think they've only won 5 games over the past 2 years. We didn't take them seriously, and Norfolk State said they were trying to make their season on playing FAM. Now, the results came out the way it should be, and I think with my coach's hat on, that's the best thing that could have happened to FAM
at the beginning of the year. Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Have a close win. So where now they're like, okay, you got to play every week. I don't care what your opponent is. You got to play every week because they're coming to beat you. So now they'll listen to the coach. They didn't have a loss with that because we would tell our team, if you lose to a team you're supposed to beat, don't let that team beat you twice. So because you could be so distraught about that you're not focused on next week. And that's why to get beat again. And he said, you let that team beat you twice. But because they won that game, it was a wake-up call. Now, play calling's got to get better. I think we're missing some key players that we lost. Some of them went to the NFL. Others got transferred out. We've got some transfer players in that needed time to gel. And week 0, It's hard to do that. So we'll be better next week, next game. But it was probably the best scenario. So I'm not going to criticize too much. But I think
about the quarterback.
I like him. But I do think that the play calling's got to get a little bit better. And because I think it was like the former offensive line coach is not offensive coordinator. I don't know how crazy I am about that. I need somebody a little bit more creative. But I think that, like I said, I think FAMU will be fine. I think there's a couple of roadblocks. I don't know. They won't have the same showing that they did against like Miami. I think Miami will run us off the field. Whereas like last year we gave them a little work. I don't think we'll play as well against the Power 4 schools that like we've done in the past year under Willie. But I think we'll win the SWAC. We'll win our division on the SWAC, and we'll be in the SWAC championship and be challenging for another
celebration.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
So that's the optimistic fan in me. Now, during the game, I was chewing off nails, cussing, throwing like really.
Yeah, I was too. That and from the technical aspect of the scoreboard commentator.
Yeah, it's just a lot. So but I have faith that we'll right the ship And
missed tackles and such. Yes,
yeah, I think I interviewed the top corner here recently for the team, and you gotta that's coaching. So I'm hoping Coach Colsey uses his opportunity this week to refocus his team and say, if you don't do what we say you should be doing, you could go around and get beat. And it's already like the Georgia Tech coach has his team's ear. I think Coach Colsey now has his team ear because he's like, we almost lost to a bad team because we weren't disciplined on the field and play our game like we're supposed to play. So they're gonna play a lot better on the next game and run. I think they'll run. I think next game we're gonna run through. I think was it South Carolina State. I think that's the first home game.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll run through South Carolina State because I think they want to prove something after this game. So yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, but y'all, thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and that's after week 1 of the NFL. Nope, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
No, I'll be in Italy
Okay.
in 2 weeks. Yes.
I may still come on. I may try to get our boy Mike Braxton to come and fill your spot so we can keep our rhythm going throughout football season. Talk about that. So we'll figure out something in 2 weeks as she's out in Italy doing her thing. Is it vacation?
Bike cycling trip in Italy.
There it is. So yeah, so vacation. Enjoy Italy. And we'll probably get somebody to fill in 2 weeks because we want to keep that rhythm, especially during football season, because it's going to be a lot that we have to deal with during football season. So we'll be back. We just made you smarter. So if you're just joining us, go back and watch this episode. We just made you smarter when it comes to the rookie quarterbacks, when it comes to the teams. We told you which teams we think are going to be better in the division, and we gave you some nuggets that you can use, like Miami being 0-11 when the game's under 40 degrees, like Dak Prescott having a losing record when he doesn't have a 100-yard rusher. And his record even gets worse when he doesn't have CeeDee Lamb on the field. Like, teams that don't have a lot of noise around them in the offseason typically enter the season doing better. We gave you teams to watch for: Denver. We got to watch the Chargers. We gave you the Falcons. Teams to look out for, and teams that we know are going to be hot garbage: the Raiders and the Giants. They should not even be playing right now. They just,
man, I like the gosh. I just like the coach.
I like the coach, but
they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
That team is built poorly, and you can't cook a gourmet meal when you don't have the right ingredients.
Oh, agree.
So they gave him shit. So Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew is okay, but
he's a serviceable backup, but they don't have a quarterback. So what can you do? You can't have a good football team without having a good quarterback. So.
Your starting quarterback looks like he's sitting at the end of a bar, and then your backup quarterback looks like he should be your IT manager. That's what you got.
Backup quarterback is.
That's what you got for the Raiders. So Antonio was it's not Daniel. Is it Daniel?
Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. He's gonna be looking for a job in 2 years.
If they get a quarterback, I think they'll be decent.
Let me get that. That's what they're thinking.
You understand? You can't expect them to win from a quarterback. It's not their fault they didn't get one.
But you think? Now I just gave you the stats on Dak. You think Dak's going to all of a sudden become better if he goes to the Raiders? He's just going to be $60 million against their cap. That's what he's going to be. They're going to pay him $60 million.
I don't think Dak's whole issue is just him. It's a Cowboys whole system. But I think Dak will be better than Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, he's better than Minshew. But
the Raiders not going to go from being garbage to going to the Super Bowl. So
no, not with that owner. The owner's terrible.
So
it's bad ownership. In today's NFL, you cannot have bad ownership, and you can't have a poor owner. And he's a poor owner because Let me make y'all smarter real quick as we're wrapping up here. NFL, when somebody gets a big contract, and you see that guaranteed money, the team has to have that money in arrears, right? They got to have, just in case something goes on. So they got to have that money, that guaranteed portion of those contracts, sitting somewhere where they can cover it, right? Like in Vegas. They got to have enough cash on hand to cover the chips on the floor. When you give somebody a guaranteed contract, you got to have cash on hand to cover that contract. Cash poor teams, that's why they're reluctant to give out big deals like Cincinnati, or notoriously cheap, like the Raiders. Like cash poor teams can't give out, they can't attract the big time. They can only get one or two because they don't have enough money. That's why everybody's looking at Jerry like, bruh, you got the bread. What are you tripping on? And that's why Jerry is getting all the heat, because they know he is not cash poor. New England is not cash poor. You got teams that are not attracting big time free agents that have the money to pay big time free agents. And so that's where the arguments come into play. So I give the Raiders somewhat of a pass because you've got a owner that's cash poor, and on top of that, he's a little weird with that haircut, and he makes bad decisions. On top of all of that, that's why you got to invest in LA. Now, Las Vegas. Now, the stadium is fantastic, and I'm gonna go there and visit that stadium. I need to check out the stadium.
I go to when the Eagles go back.
But I don't trust that owner. I think Antonio Pierce is put in a bad situation. I don't trust the quarterback. I don't even know who the offensive coordinator is in Las Vegas. So
he came from the Bears.
Oh, that dude? Yeah, okay, yeah. That's the Raiders going to average about 16.5 points per game. And I'm taking the under. Because Gardner Minshew might get hot, so he'll drive the average up. But the defense is going to be serviceable, but they're not going anywhere. Bottom of that division all day. So but we'll see y'all coming back. Again, we just made you smarter again. Come on now. Bookmark this. Tell a friend. Share it, and you'll be the smartest person in your football group. Mark my words. Pittsburgh, don't go for it. Mike Tomlin's going to have his first losing season this year.
No.
Unless something dramatically happens. Mike Tomlin, you already hit first.
No.
Mike Tomlin will have his first losing season this year. It may not be by much, because now they're playing 17 games. 8-9, Pittsburgh. That's what's going to happen. Because the back half of their schedule is horrendously hard.
I gotta go, LSD.
You
gotta wrap it up.
Yes.
Gotta wrap it up.
Yes. You give me time to start talking about it. Okay. Y'all, we'll see y'all next time. We gotta go.
All right. Good night.